Hi, this is Jacqueline with Nickel and Dime Decor. And I'm so excited to tell you that we're going to start a series on a log cabin quilt. I'm going to make me a Christmas table quilt. And I've always wanted to do a log cabin. I never really looked at one and tried to make one, but we're going to. I don't know where I got this book. I've had it forever. I probably bought it at an estate sale. If you want a good book with lots and lots of different ways to make log cabins, it's the ultimate Half Log Cabin book. It's quite old. It was copyright 2001. I do not know if it's even in existence anymore. But inside it's www.quilttownusa.com, and you might be able to find it there. But these Half Log Cabins book, I've heard of half log, but I didn't really know what it meant. But here is a picture of what we're going to make. And that's called barn raising, is the name of the pattern. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, if you will look at all of the colors and all of the different pieces of fabric, this particular pattern calls for 36 different dark colors, 36 light different colors. Well, I don't have 36. And especially with a Christmas quilt. I started out with greens, and I was just going to do green and cream. And that would have been okay. But I wanted a, I don't know what I want for the little 2-inch border, and this is a 5-inch. But I wanted red for my 5-inch. And so originally, all of my plans that I had laid out have changed. And you can do the same thing too. You know, that is what is so fun about creating our own quilts, is adapting the pattern to be you. So the lady that wrote this book is Sharon Craig. I want to be sure and give her credit because it's just a wonderful book. But I guess I was stuck with the description of dark fabrics. I considered it dark. But if you look at this, these aren't all necessarily dark. There's greens, there's grays, there's blacks, there's reds, there's golds, there's practically every color of the rainbow. But when you look at it, what do you see? You see darks. And so I had to expand my mind from green to add some other color. And so I want to add red. Red and greens and my cream colors. And if I had any other colors that blended in, I'd use them, but I don't. I have just searched and I can't come up with any other colors. So this whole video tutorial is about cutting and buying and getting ready to sew a log cabin quilt. We're not going to do any sewing today. This is all about cutting and all about picking out your colors. And this book will show you like 4 or 5 different ways to lay out your fabric, your blocks. This is 6 blocks by 6 rows. 6 for 36 blocks. I want to give you, in case you can't find this pattern, I want to give you what you will need to purchase or look in your stash. And this is all going to depend upon you, how many colors and how many you want. I'm going to give you what the pattern calls for, and then you can adapt it like I am. Or not. You can do the 36. So, 36 different dark values. Values is the key word to all of this. Is by looking at them, they all have the same values. 36 different light values. I chose to try to stay kind of in the creams, but you could use creams and whites together. I'm sure it would be okay. You need 3/8 of a yard for that little 2-inch inner border. 1.5 yards for the 5-inch outer border. 53 inches square of batting, which is larger than it will finish. It's supposed to finish at 48.5 square. And I think that will be just perfect for my dining room table. I've never had a Christmas dining room quilt, and I'm excited to make it. And then 53-inch square of your backing, whatever fabric that you choose. Now, I'm going to put the camera down and show you. The more fabrics that you have, visualize this, the more number of fabrics that you have, the less fabric of each one you're going to need to cut. Overall, you're going to need 36 strips of 19-inch for your dark. You're going to want 36 of them, of the dark prints. So just say you're like me. You can't come up with 36 of them. Say that you have 12. You have 12 fabrics divided into 36. You're going to need 3 19-inch strips for each one. If you had 12 different fabrics. You can cut them from 1/4 yard fabric folded together with the selvages together. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. You can cut them from a fat quarter. If it's, you've got 19 inches. Excuse me. And you can just cut them from your scraps. And I'm going to show you. I have got a piece laying here on my cutting board, and it's not a fat quarter. In fact, it's 15 by 14. But those 19-inch strips are subcut. And I think I can go on and get all of them out of that piece of fabric. And that's what we're going to see if we can do. Just so I can show you if it can be done. Of all the different, so it doesn't tell us what to go by yardage-wise. And that's why I'm telling you all of this. You could take a jelly roll and cut them down to 2 inches. But a jelly roll doesn't have, like, you know how it has some darks and it has some lights, but I don't know that it would give you enough. Especially if you're going to do 36 different colors. But try to, I guess the first thing you have to decide is how many colors you want with any log cabin quilt. And I have after looking, and I even went and bought some fabric. But when it comes to the greens and Christmas reds, the reds that I like blend, this is all I could come up with, and it'll work. It's not going to be probably as pretty as this one on this cover, but it's going to be pretty. It really is, I think. So let me change the camera views and everything and show you what I have all laid out here and tell you. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. Hold on just a second, I need a little more light. This is what I have already subcut out of these strips. I took a strip, I bought 1/4 a yard, and I laid out my fabric with the selvages up here, and I cut 2-inch strips. This is folded. Well, 19-inch strips, you can get 3 of them out of here. No, I'm sorry, 2 of them. Not adding up, is it? You know, this strip is going to be 22, so unfolded is 44. So 2 19-inch strips is 38 inches. So that's all I can get out of a strip like this. It's 2 of them. And that's how I cut all of these. I went ahead and got my 1/4 a yard and cut my 2-inch strips, and then I subcut them. And I got my 36 strips out of all of this. I will after I cut this one. But what I had to do, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I've got 2 reds mixed in with my greens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 into 36 does not come out equally. So I decided, all right, I'm going to take the ones that I like the least, and that's these, well, this and this one especially. But I have only 3, going to have 3 and 3. No, 3, 4, and 4. 3 sets, 3 of everything that I subcut. We have a 6 1/2, a 5, a 3 1/2, and a 2 out of that 19-inch strip. And because I have 8 colors, I'm going to have 3, 4, and 4 makes 8, 11. And then 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5 makes 25, and 11 is 36. And that's how I have my 36. And I wanted to show you, I think it's possible to get that out of here, even though it's not a 19-inch strip like it tells you to take a 19-inch strip and subcut it. But I think I can still get 6 1/2. Okay, if this is 14 inches, 6 1/2 and 6 1/2 is 13. So I'm gonna, and I want 5, so I'm gonna make 3 strips, 2-inch strips. And if this doesn't work, then you can get a fat quarter. I bet you, I just want you to show you that you can get your subcuts out of a piece of fabric without starting with the original 19 inches strip. Okay, these are for my 6.5 inches, okay? And now I need a 3.5, so I need another 2-inch strip. And how many 3.5s am I going to be able to get? Well, I've got 14 inches, so I should be able to get 4 of them. 3.5 and 3.5 is 7, so that should get me 4 of them, and I want 5. So I need 5 of all of my measurements. And I only want 3.5 out of this one, so I've got all this left from my 5 inches. Or 2 inches. I need 2-inch squares. So that's cut another 2-inch. Okay, before I cut the last one, let's go on and get our 6.5. There's 1. And let's keep it straight so we can. This is a 6.5-inch ruler. So that's why I'm using it like this. There's 2 of them. And all we wasted was this little tab. There's 4. And 5. Okay. So what I wanted was 5 of them. Now, let's see what this measures. It measures 7, so I should be able to get 2 3.5s out of that. And I'm using this. It's my 12.5 square ruler, but it makes it so precise. If you put this down, exactly down right here, exactly down here, and exactly here, you have got a perfect 3.5 inch rectangle. And there's one. Two. Three. 4. And 5. The next thing that we need are 5 inch. I'm only going to be able to get let's see what this was. I'm going to go ahead and cut a 2 inch. That's 3.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I want that right there. Okay. Now, I need 5 inches, correct? Yes. One. I'm only going to get 2 of them out of this piece. So what I'm going to do with this piece that's left is I'm going to do my 2 inch squares that I need. One and 2. Waste not, want not. Isn't that the expression? Okay, we're going to do 5 again. One, 2, 3, 4. And let's do 2. One, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3. We need one more 5 inch and one more 2. And we still have this much out of that little bit of fabric. And we're going to cut another 2 inch strip. And we will cut our 5 inch. I'm going to use this ruler this time since I got it in my hand. and 1 2-inch. Now, if you will note, I had a 15 by 14 piece of fabric, and I got all of this done. All of the pieces, the subcut pieces that were required. So what I am telling you is you can cut it from any size fabric if you want to go straight to the subcutting. If you want to be sure and start with 19-inch strips, then either a fat quarter or cut 1/4 of a yard into 3 or 4 2-inch strips. But it can be done with a fat quarter, but you have to go directly to the subcutting. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, with your long strips, this is all you have to do. All you're going to do is cut 2 19-inch strips, and I've got to cut off my selvages. This is quite simple. You don't really need any explanation on this. But I have my fold down here, and I'm just going to go to the 19 inches and cut, and that's all I have left. And then do my subcutting just like I did just a while ago. 2 inches first, 3.5 inches next, and you'll have 2 of each because you've got 2 here. Then 5, and then 6.5. And I'll do that with each strip and get my 5 like I did of this. And then I will have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 4 and 4 is 8, and 3 is 11, and 25 is 36 for 36 blocks. And that is how to do a half log cabin, cut it out. Now, you see this picture. This is what a half log cabin looks like. This one right up here. After that's sewn together, that's what that block looks like. And this is the progression of it. And next week we'll get to how we do that. Like I say, this is going to be a 5 or 6 part series on this quilt, maybe even longer. But that way we take our time, we learn each and every little strip, you know, every little bit about making a log cabin quilt. You will understand it completely. And as I get ready to sew, I have to cut these. I had the 4 of the cream colors, and they are 12 inches. They're not 19 inches. You cut your light strips 2 inches by 12. Now, I showed you how to subcut that. Let me show you very quickly how to subcut your light prints. You don't cut it quite the same. You're going to cut a 2 inch, a 3.5 inch, and a 5. We're just leaving off the 6.5. Is what you're not cutting out of the light prints. 2.5, a 3.5, and a 5. This pattern has no waste whatsoever with your fabric, hardly. And I love that. I just can't stand to see people make quilts and waste so much fabric. That's all we wasted out of our 12-inch strips. And this is what you need with all of your lights. And that's what you do with each and every one of them. We'll do one more. Those little 2-inch squares are pretty small. You know, a block is only 6.5 inches. 6 inches square. That's a pretty small block. There's your 3.5. And here's your 5. I hope if you look for that book that you can find it if you want it. But I will go over this again after I get everything cut, and I will go over what you need again in case you didn't write it down, because this is going to be so much fun to make, and I want you to make it with me. Okay, I'm going to proceed and finish cutting those and finish cutting my red, and then I'll have it all done. And you know, out of that 15 by 14 inch, look what I had. I still had some left. Isn't that amazing? And it just shows you what you can do with a small piece of fabric. All right, that is our tutorial for this this week, and I just am excited to make Half Log Cabin barn raising, and I hope you join me next week as we start to sew. God bless you, and I love you.